All right, welcome to another episode of Unstable with me, Ricky Belshaw. We've got a very special guest today.
The most special guest.
Special needs. This is Gaz, and he is normally the voice that you hear. I'm pointing because it makes a lot of sense to me because I can see that corner. You can't.
Yeah.
Don't know why I'm pointing. He's the voice in the corner.
Yeah.
Corno.
The producer. That's
the
word I like.
I don't know why I said corno.
Cornhole.
The voice in the dark.
Yeah.
The man in the shadows.
Yeah. Video guy, audio guy.
Yeah. Producer.
Yeah. Producer. We
Gaz.
like that term. Yeah.
So we thought we'd do an episode, introduce you to Gaz, so you understand why we don't let him
on the camera very often.
Yeah. How you doing, fella? You all right?
I'm good, mate. I'm good, yeah.
Cool. You've had an interesting week, haven't you?
Yeah. Because you haven't really seen me in a while.
No,
I've been off.
It's been a while.
So it's been silent in the corner over there.
Yeah, it's been very quiet for the last couple of weeks.
I had an abscess in a very personal area, which wasn't fun. Yeah. So that was good.
Is it on the shaft or the balls?
Balls.
Oh,
yeah.
Ouchie.
So, yeah, very painful. And I first time I'd stayed overnight in a hospital.
Really?
Yeah, 34 years old, and I was like,
man, that's
doing
good
quite
going.
well. I was like, quite well.
I'd smash that record. I am dicking all over that.
Yeah, but like there, I wasn't supposed to be there overnight, so it was I was going to say it was a ball ache of a week. It was a ball ache of a week because I left work on the Tuesday. I was like, I need half the day off just to go to the GP. I need them to have a look at this.
Yeah. Well, was it just like a swelling, like a lump?
Yeah, but it looked like there was a head on it.
Right, and like a big spot.
Yeah, like a big spot. It was really fucking painful. And like, obviously, you go on Google and it's like, don't squeeze it. It's like, I'm going to fucking squeeze that thing. Like, don't press the red button. It's a big fucking red button on, you know. Tried like nothing and it was just really painful. It didn't seem to get any better. So booked the afternoon off on the Tuesday and doctors were like, you need to go to the emergency care unit or something. I was messaging you or something it was, they were like, you need to go there. You need to go to surgery. It's like a day surgery thing. So you just go at 8 a.m. So this is now the Thursday, go at 8 a.m. and then they sort the surgery schedule out for the day. And, and then you should be in and out within the day. Got there, waited at 8 a.m, got there a couple of hours, finally got saw by someone. They were like, it looks really painful, looks really sore. Just so you know, you probably won't be seen today. And I'm like, fucking hell. Like, they're like, just a few more days on antibiotics. I was like, no, this needs to fucking go. This is agony. Yeah. And there's people, so it's a walk-in service for basically just people with abscesses. So there's people sat in this waiting room. Like, there's some people sat there going, there's some people going, there's like different areas of their body. You're like trying to guess, like, like abscess bingo, like trying to work out who's got what. And there's people in there who are like, they've got one on their knee. And I'm like, I'm sorry, if you're going in today.
If you're going to put in order the body parts of importance. Knees at the bottom, balls. Balls. I'd say they're top third.
Yeah, top third. Like one on your eyelid.
Mouth.
I get that. That is painful, but and
also I do think bell end would be worse than balls.
Fuck. Yeah. There was a guy in there who had one in his arse.
Oh,
yeah. So
he's top.
Yeah, I was like, he's all right. He's next in line.
Imagine that,
like a cheese counter ticket. Like I was like, you got my number,
just
mate.
Imagine him having a poo and that comes out as well.
Fucking hell! Yeah. So they were like, for hours, they were like, no, maybe we'll see. You'll get another doctor to look at you. And I don't know why. I've never been one of these people. I've never really struggled with panic attacks. Over the last couple of years, I say I've never really struggled. Over the last couple of years, for various reasons, I'd have what I would consider them, but I don't really, it's not something I Google or something. You hear about it all the time, like, I had a panic attack. And it's just whatever. But
you're just stressed.
Yeah, and because they were telling me, you're going to have to wait another couple of days, and I was in so much pain, I was just stressed. I've been sat there all day, and you got like bloody This Morning on the telly in front of you or something. Like, who watches this? It's cack.
Yeah.
And I just got really stressed. I got really overheated, and I went to stand up. And that's the thing as well, because obviously, because I was supposed to be having surgery the next day, the day before, they're like, don't eat anything.
Don't eat, So, I knew what you were going to say.
And then, so you're there from 8 a.m. I haven't eaten anything since 8 the previous night.
Just to interject that, I'm surprised that for something like that, they give you a general anaesthetic. Like, I would have just thought they'd be able to local it, like put a few injections in, do it while you're awake. It surprises me why they give you a general.
Yeah, I don't know, because they only gave me two options. They said they could either have, so I suppose it's kind of like an epidural that women have during pregnancy, with the one at the bottom of the spine. So bottom half, but I'd still be awake and I'd see everything.
Yeah.
And there was a part of me where I was kind of like, I could be awake, film this, get some of that YouTube sponsor money, because like you go like watching. Puss popping,
I love them.
like,
I love them. I do. Blackheads it is for me.
Yeah.
I love the blackheads.
No.
Oh, stop it.
But like, so I chose. I was like, I want to have a nap. I'm tired. Like, so just put me under.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible.
But yeah, where was I? I can't remember where I was now.
So
event in the waiting room. I kind of like had a bit of a moment. I think it was a bit of a panic attack, and probably the fact that I also hadn't eaten or hadn't drank anything.
Yeah.
And like I went to stand up to go over and tell the nurses that were there. I was like, I'm not feeling good, and I just kind of like buckled over. And
did you touch down?
No, I didn't touch down. I went to my knees and I was like hyperventilating, and they were like and they grabbed me and they put me in the triage room on bed, and they like put me on like a drip and stuff.
Just fluids, like saline.
I know. I think it was a paracetamol drip they were giving me.
Right. Okay.
But obviously, because I was like, fucking paracetamol. I hate that. And you know, because my mum had it. My mum had like really bad like back injury a couple of years ago. I was talking to you about it earlier.
Yeah.
And like they prescribed her when she left paracetamol.
It's
and I'm like,
such a good painkiller though.
But well, not when I don't think in pill form. Because this was because I said what, like the 15p shit you get from B&M. No. She was like, no. When it's from a drip,
intravenously,
it's great.
It's an incredible painkiller.
Yeah.
Because there's no, with like opiates and stuff, you get drowsy and the side effects and all stuff like that. With paracetamol, there's none of that. It's like diclofenac. There's just no.
That sounds made up.
No, it's a painkiller and anti-inflammatory. There's no sort of psychoactive element to it, so there's great chemicals for killing pain with no side effects. It's such a good drug.
I think for me, it's kind of like, I think it's kind of like an anti-placebo for me in the sense where I'm like, because it's so cheap, I'm like, surely this is nothing. Like it's 15p for a box. Like, you know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So they put me on a drip and everything. And then eventually some other guy came out and he was like, yeah, an anaesthetist is going to come explain everything to you and stuff. I was like, brilliant. So I'm having it done. They were like, yeah. And also I got my family messaging me like, do you need a lift back? Like, what's happening? Are you staying over? And I'm like, I don't know. And then they saw me at about 4 PM. So I've been there now for fucking 8 hours. Still haven't eaten anything. Still haven't drank anything. Anaesthetist comes in and he goes, like I say, he gave me the choice of the spinal injection or to knock me out and everything like that. And he was like, you'll probably be in surgery about 6 o'clock. And I was like, okay. And how long will it take? He was like, probably about an hour or so. And I was like, okay. And then how long will I wake up afterwards? He was like, it's very quick now, about 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. And I was like, okay. So will I be able to go home tonight? He was like, oh, yeah. I was like, will I be able to drive? And he was like, maybe. And I'm like, really? Like a cut down there? And I was like, I don't know.
The cut you'd be fine with. It's the stuff in your system that slow you down that I wouldn't want.
So I was like, I really don't know. So I was kind of like just keeping my family like...
So they give you like benzodiazepines as well for when you wake up so you're chilled out and don't panic. You don't want to drive on that shit.
No, yeah. So like again, so I think I was out. I think I woke up about 8:30 after everything. And
isn't it mad with anaesthetic that it feels like you just go...
Yeah, and then
it's like you blink.
You can't remember anything. It's not like you dream or anything like that. Because don't you dream? Isn't it REM sleep or something? When
REM,
so you're not actually fully asleep at that time. So that's when your brain's still active.
You're not asleep under anaesthetic. You're knocked out.
Yeah.
So it literally feels like you count down. They tell you to count down, and you get to say 7, and you wake up and you're at 6. It's like literally, it feels like you just go book. Yeah. And there's no memory.
I can't remember.
But then you hear the horror stories, don't you? Of people having like waking up.
Oh God,
where they're like paralysed because they've only had like one of the chemicals. They're paralysed and they can't move, but they
can still feel
conscious
the pain.
And they feel everything.
Oh God,
it's always been a fear of mine.
I find it strange that you're knocked out, but surely the pain of being cut would wake you up. So what is it? I
think there's 2 chemicals they put in.
Oh, okay.
So there's one that knocks you out so you don't experience anything, then another one that like sort of paralyses your nerves, I guess. Yeah. I don't know the exact science, but I know there's 2 chemicals.
Because I don't, like I said, I've never spent a night in a hospital. I've had broken bones and things like that, but it's always been day stuff. Yeah. The only time I've been like knocked out before, other than by a fist to the face, is when I had my back teeth removed, and they knocked me out for that because that was the worst pain. Tooth pain is the worst. My missus will say the same. It's the worst pain because you can't do anything about it until they're out. There's nothing you like. Paracetamol ain't gonna do shit. Codeine ain't gonna do shit.
And it's constant.
Yeah, and it's just constant. It's just an ache. It's the worst fucking pain in the world. And my missus said the same. She's had 4 kids, and it's like, she's like, I just don't want toothache. And it's the worst pain I'd ever felt. But I tell you what, mate, the worst pain I've now ever felt was I did stay over the hospital. Then they were like, yeah, you can go home today. So this is now the Friday.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, you can go home today. You just need to get your prescription sorted and everything, and then we'll redo your bandages. And there's packing in there. So in my scrotum, they've obviously packed the wound.
Because they've got a hole, so they've taken the abscess out. My dad had to have it, he had an abscess. And,
and they've packed the wound with, it's called Aquacell or something.
Yeah,
so
it's like a ribbon. Like a string ribbon thing.
Yeah. And so they packed that, and I was like, oh, okay. I was just thinking like, I thought they'd just done stitches or something. Yeah. Nope, they've packed it. So I was like, okay. So
they do that, so it heals from. They pack it with less and less as it goes on, so it heals. From
the inside out. Yeah, and so they did that, and they were like, oh, so let's change it now because you're nearly ready to go. Took the plaster off, and I looked down, and obviously fucking swollen balls like a space opera, and with like a little fucking bit of string, so it looks like a bomb.
A red bomb.
Just
like a cherry bomb.
So you've got this fucking bomb dick going on.
Yeah.
And
your dick's the fuse, like.
Molotov cocktail. So they pull the fucking thing out. I was just covered in blood and shit, God knows what. That isn't so bad. It was quite a relief, actually.
Because it's the pressure. And
then they get the swabs in there, and then they're scooping all that out and everything. And they're like, okay, this is the bit that's going to hurt. And I'm like, right, okay. And then then obviously get a swab, and then they just start pushing packing it in. And fuck me, my missus was with me at that time.
Sweating.
I was crying. Like I got pretty like high pain threshold and stuff, but that was it was like stabbing, and it was like you could feel it sliding in, and I was like, this is agony, and I was tearing, and I didn't. Have you ever been in so much pain you don't know what to do with your hands?
No.
But I don't know.
No.
But like I was in so much pain, and obviously I've
never been in so much pain. I've gone, what do I do here?
This isn't right. Just put it in your pockets. But like it was.
I'm always holding my sticks, like just shaking.
But like so I was like, because obviously someone's got their hand around your private area, and you're like,
which is normally a great experience.
It's normally a great experience, but when you know pain's coming and someone's around there, I mean, there's people out there that really
that's what you're into.
They love that shit. We're not kink shaming here.
No,
but like
I've got a dominatrix coming on next week.
Next week. Yes, she's probably done worse to people, and they've paid her to do it.
Exactly.
But like, it was just the worst pain ever, and I didn't know. And obviously, because I couldn't move, and I couldn't be like, don't get off me, just in case she rips or does something worse. So so it was very, very painful. I'm on the mend now, and the antibiotics have been working. Luckily, I haven't had any infections. Touch wood.
Some wood.
Everything's kind of healed up now, and healed up very quickly. Nurses I had and stuff were great.
So you say you're on antibiotics?
I'm on antibiotics, Fluxodiapam or something.
Probably just a general.
Yeah, it's just to reduce swelling and obviously and potential infections and stuff. But it's been a tough couple of weeks, man. I haven't been at work, and obviously sitting down has been a struggle. Walking around has been a struggle.
You're only comfy lying down, then I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. But then because I had this, it was like imagine a net.
Right.
It's not the name of the nurse.
The net, Just walking around, just supporting you.
My support worker. It's like, so I had this net thing that went around, and then it's like a little belt that goes around. So it kind of looks like a bit like a little thong.
Ball holder.
So the way I was seeing it is
like a jock strap.
Yeah, like a jock strap, but because it was like a netted kind of mesh thing, and my balls were so swollen, like when you buy baby bells,
hairs pinging out of it,
like baby bells, like a net of baby bells. That's what it looked like, and obviously they were red as well. So it's been a tough couple of weeks, man. But I'm on the mend now and everything, and I should be back at work next week. So sorry for not being around, mate.
It's all right, mate. I get it. You've got to get your balls sorted. I
was worried about telling work as well, and I was like, oh man, because I've literally. The job I'm doing at the moment, I've just done the 6-month probation.
Right.
So when I text them telling them, look, I'm not coming in because I've got to go to surgery, they were a bit like, oh, he's just come out of his probation, so he's going to be trying to wrangle sick pay and everything. Turns out I don't get fucking sick pay anyway, but I was worried in my head thinking, they think I'm taking the piss. Because they were texting me back going like, they were like, was this a planned surgery? And I was like, you can't really plan an abscess on your scrotum. But, and then I was like, do they think I'm lying? And then I'm like, and I was getting mad. And I was like, just send them a dick picture or something. But it was not fun. But they've been cool with it, and everyone's been cool with it. And everyone's been helpful and everything.
Sound.
So that's good.
So with has it been a lump there for years, or is it just come? I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot talking about your testicles.
No. Well, I had... I had a sebaceous cyst for years.
What's that?
A sebaceous cyst. It's basically just. I think it's kind of like a buildup of oil, and like it's called sebum.
Sebum, like the shit, the same stuff that comes out of blackheads in it.
Yeah, so I believe it's that. So it's just like a buildup of that, and I'd had one
like white blood cells and skin cells and shit.
It was just kind of like a hard lump.
Yeah,
and it wasn't very big, but it was on my scrotum for years. And I went to my GP about it probably about 2-3 years ago now. When I started dating my missus, because I was like, new relationship.
Yeah.
And you don't want, before you do anything physical together, you don't want to be like, just so you know, that thing you're going to see down there, it's not it's not infectious. And you've got to be all medical. It's called a sebaceous cyst. It's like kind of ticks. It's not sexy, is it? You know.
But at the same time, you don't just want to whip it out.
Yeah, and then she's like actually horrible. You need to warn them.
Yeah, there's a fine line there in between not losing the moment.
So I went to the doctor when I started dating her. I was like, well, it looks like things are going well and everything. So I went to the doctors and I said, it's not causing me any pain. It's not growing, but it's not aesthetically pleasing. And my doctor basically went, well, because it's not growing, it's not causing you any pain, it's not changing colour or anything like that. The NHS won't remove it because it's classed as a cosmetic surgery. I bet you should have lied then. I should have, because I spoke to my dad about it, because I've explained this to my dad as well, and I've got them as well. The varicose veins. Right. He had his varicose veins removed a few years ago. Yeah. And he said that he did kind of pour it on a little bit and say, lay it on a bit thick. You can lay it on a bit thick because eventually they will start to hurt. Yeah. And why should you? And everyone knows varicose veins are eventually going to start to hurt. I mean, it's probably different with a sebaceous cyst, but they're going to hurt eventually. So why not just nip it in the bud?
Prevention's better than a cure, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So obviously now, in hindsight, and I don't know if that sebaceous cyst was anything to do with the abscess that came or anything like that.
I assumed it was the same.
Well, basically, because the area where the abscess formed was over the cyst. So it came to a point where I was like, I don't know if that has formed into that or that has covered that.
Yeah.
And since the operation, it's all fine down there now. So there's, as far as I can tell, there's not a cyst there,
right,
of what was there before. So I don't know if they were linked, but then
maybe they just if they were two separate things, maybe they just took it all out in a one. Maybe they were there. Maybe they didn't realise because of all the pus and the stuff. They're just like, there's another hard lump. Yeah, maybe. So I don't know, but I don't. And then so I've obviously asked and obviously looked on Google and stuff, and apparently this. Don't know. You don't understand how common abscesses are, and since then, it's like, you ever bought a new car or something, or you've been dreaming about a new car, and then you just see them everywhere. Yeah,
and because I've been thinking a lot recently about
because I'm literally my new car, I'm seeing them everywhere.
Yeah. And when you see people all the time, like you walk around town and stuff, and obviously I know you've got sticks, so you got your little style of walk.
I avoid,
but you see people walking. You see people walking like, and they're a bit kind of, and I'm like. That's an abscess walk, that is.
Bollock cancer, yeah.
That's an abscess walk. So they are very, very common. And I think it was Wednesday last week when I got my packing redone and everything. The nurse said, just to make you feel better, this isn't the first one I've done today. And I went, what, of a scrotum? And she went, no. And I was like, how common are they? And she was like, for some reason, apparently this time of year as well, so obviously we're coming up to November now.
Right.
This time of year, it's like fucking dick abscess season kind of thing. But I was trying to figure out why, because I was like, should you think like the summer, like sweat, whatever? But she said, well, no, because...
Is it because, let me see if I can guess, is it because it starts getting a bit colder, so you layer up more and you sweat and stuff?
Yeah, that's what she said. So because of that, so because of more layers, people get more abscesses in those areas. Because you think a lot of people get them in their armpits and obviously in and around their anuses and stuff as well. Because
it's all in the crevices, isn't it?
Crevices, yeah. So that's why. So I was quite interested.
I bet that's painful under the arm.
In the armpits, because you have to keep your arm like that.
So I've got tattoos right up here, and that's stung.
God, I don't know how you've done that, mate. Like, got tattoos on your armpits.
Oh, they're not. Well, I suppose. Well, yeah, I suppose this one comes right. Yeah, right under. Yeah, not the actual armpit. Yeah, but coming up into it. Yeah. That did sting.
Well, I wanted to ask you.
The worst area was on my inside of my elbow.
Well, yeah. Well, I've had that one there, and then this one here on my arm. But when it got to about there.
Yeah,
right in the armpit, just that little point there. Pinched.
Now, for me, the worst area was where you, where you give blood. That little area there on the inside of the elbow. Sorry, you wanted to ask me something?
I was going to ask you, what's the worst pain you've ever felt?
Oh, I know the answer without any shadow of a doubt. So when I was 10, I had that operation on my spine. Mm. So I'll tell you. So I had this operation on my spine. Basically, they took out some of my spine, put it to one side. separated my spinal cord up, and then they artificially stimulated each nerve ending to see which made the most spastic results on the muscles, and whichever one made the worst results, they killed. So they were killing the muscles that were working against me, so they paralysed me in a way. But it, obviously massive risk, but could still, it worked to treat. I've got full sensation, and it worked to treat, but there was massive risks that I could obviously be paralysed, lose bladder control, bowel control, could have been impotent, and stuff like that. But everything was fine. But one of the things they were really worried about was weeing and pooing. So they give you loads of stuff for the first 10 days, so that basically you hardly poo, and they put a catheter in so you don't have to worry about weeing. But I was prepubescent at the time, and apparently during the operation they had real problems putting the catheter in because I had such a tiny little penis. And when they brought me to the ward, the doctors told the nurses they were under strict instruction. Under no circumstances does that catheter come out without a doctor say so. Okay. Fine. So they're there Monday to Friday. There's always doctors on site. Friday night, they go home. The doctors have a weekend off and the nurses are in charge. Friday night, I started having stomach pain. So the nurses came over and they thought I had a urine infection. So they're telling me to drink and drink and drink. It's getting worse and worse all through the night. Saturday comes, it's just getting worse. They keep telling me to drink and drink and drink. Pain's getting worse and worse and worse. And by Sunday night, I am fucking screaming the place down. Now, the Sunday morning, my dad came to visit, and you've met my dad, he's quite no nonsense. Yeah. And he went up to the nurses and he was like, look, that catheter's coming out. So you either tell me how to do it, you do it, or I'm just going to pull it out. But either way, it's coming out now. So anyway, one of the nurses did it. She pulled it out and my dick was like a hose. But the pain of that coming out was unreal. And what had happened, when they put a catheter in, there's like a little balloon on the inside that inflates to stop the tube coming out. So the liquid can come out, but the tube can't. That balloon had deflated, but then gone hard and had blocked any liquid coming out. So the nurses are telling me to drink and drink and drink for pretty much 48 hours, nearly 72 hours, and there's just nothing coming out. So I'm just drinking, it's just getting, my stomach was rock hard. So when they pulled it out, that hurt so much. I was screaming in agony, but then I know what childbirth's like. I know what it's like. No, I don't.
We're going to get the letters now from the women.
What I mean by it is, because I spoke to mum about it, and the women who have had kids, you'll know this. It hurts. Then as soon as the baby's out, it doesn't hurt, and that's what I mean by that. Like the pain while they were pulling out was unbelievable, but then the moment it came out, it was just relief.
The argument I want to make about the childbirth thing.
Before you go into it, I probably wasn't experiencing the same level of pain.
No. My point being is that women love to go on about it, but then they go and have another one. They go and have another kid. No one's asking to be kicked in the balls again.
I knew what you were going to say.
Or have a bloody abscess on their cock again or something like that. You know.
Yeah. But also,
love you, ladies.
But with the pregnancy thing, obviously comes with a load of pleasure in the making of the baby. So
you get pleasure in the making it, and then obviously if you want the child and you love your child, then you get something at the end of it.
Exactly.
With an abscess or something like that, you get
just the pain.
Get nothing.
There's no so with the childbirth, there's a reward as well. Do you know what I mean? Like so.
Again, going back to it, that's why I wish I filmed it, because the reward would have been some sponsorship money from YouTube.
So that's probably the most painful was my catheter.
I think that
whole operation was severe. It was brutal. I was in hospital 10 weeks.
The thing with catheters as well, that was another thing. There was another first for me, and that's because I'd never had a catheter before.
Right.
And when I told you I was like, had that kind of, I think it was a bit of a panic attack, obviously a mix of things, of just general fear, like having to stay over maybe, having an operation, never really had one before. All that, and they said about catheter, and I asked the nurse, and I was like, I know what it is. Like I get what it is, but I was like, does it hurt? And she was like, no, it can do. And I was like, usually a nurse was like, no, it's just uncomfortable or something. She was like, it can do. I was like, oh fuck. Yeah. So that was another part of me that started.
You had to have a catheter, did you?
During the operation, not before or after. So I don't remember it being in there.
Okay.
But when I woke up. So when I woke up, like when I went to pee for the first time, I was like,
sore.
Fucking hell, that stings a bit, you know. And they said, oh, that's just down to the catheter. And obviously I know what it is, but to be awake and have one, just you talking about it there, like things like that. I'm just, anything to do with eyes, anything to do with
the same.
Up your bloody jeb.
I'm terrible. Despite being covered in tattoos, I'm really needle phobic in terms of injections. Like I have proper.
I suppose that the early part of your life, though, your experience with needles wasn't ever going to be a positive thing. It wasn't a choice. Like, whereas a tattoo was a choice.
Yeah, and with the needles thing, I've never been a fan of them, but as a kid, I'd put up with them, like, and as much as kids do. But then during that operation, for that first, I think it was 7 to 10 days, I had to just stay in bed and I had to be, like, so still because my spine was so weak, the slightest movement could have paralysed me, like, that obviously. I'll tell you about the operation in a minute, but another point about the operation. So that first 7 to 10 days, I was on that many drugs and stuff just to stay still. I was fucking physically like numb and zoned out, but mentally I was awake. And they just kept coming
That's
in like...
the film. Have you ever seen Johnny Got His Gun?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. And Metallica did a song called One about it.
That's
like,
it,
oh
yeah.
my God.
And they just kept coming and injecting me with shit and taking blood. So physically I could barely move, but mentally I was all there. And it sounds wanky, but I've probably got some form of like PTSD. I have like flashbacks to that and stuff. Like if I sit like, if I had to go into Beijing, I had to have these, all these, and I was training, so I was quite toned. I was dead ripped for the power to weight ratio. I'm only a small guy, but I was really fit at the time. And I had to have all these injections to go to Beijing and Hong Kong. And I remember just sitting there and I thought, right, just mind over matter, and just sat there and just fucking do it. And this nurse in front of me waving it, she went, look, you're going to have to relax, sweetheart, otherwise it's really going to hurt. I'm like, it's not the pain that bothers me, it's the thought of it. If you'd done it by now, it'd be over. Can you just get it in my fucking arm, please? Yeah. And I just have to go through it. Like, yeah, just fucking tense up and just go. Cool. Hate it.
I was going to change this. You mentioned there, obviously, because so me and you met in, I'd say 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
Because
I 9-10ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you knew me when I broke my back, didn't you? That was 2011 when I had to have all that time off work.
Yes.
Yeah, so it would, probably 2009.
When were you in Beijing?
2008.
2008. So yeah, it was after that because I remember meeting you.
Yeah, it would have been 9.
And everyone was like, "Oh, it's Ricky. He's silver medalist," and I remember just. Well, it's not fucking gold though, is it?
Yeah,
the classic.
Silver's just another word for loser.
Yeah, like, you were the first loser.
I was the best loser on the day, yeah.
But yeah, so obviously if people don't know, Ricky and I met each other in, well, we're saying about 2009, 2010. Around about then, because I was working nights at a hotel and Ricky was working reception at a hotel.
Yep.
And that's how we met. And we got lots of stories from the hotel. We'll have to do some.
That's some good times, man.
Yeah, we'll have to do something.
We'll get into that in a second.
Oh, yeah. But I was going to ask, because once you'd finished the Olympics, and then you say you had your surgery in 2011.
No, I was 10.
I see.
Yeah.
Right. So after Beijing, did you have plans to go to the next one? Did you go to the next Olympics?
I tried, but I wanted to go to, because the next one was London in 2012, but I fell off a horse in 2011 and broke my back. So I had that pretty much the year off training, and the doctors told me not to ride, but the trials were there. So I did get on and I did ride, but I wasn't fit or good enough.
Yeah.
So I missed London. So after Beijing, I didn't do the major championship in 2009. I went to the World Championships in 2010. Then I broke my back in 2011, so I missed London 2012. 2013, I went to the Europeans. Got 2 silvers again there, fuck's sake. 2014, I didn't go to the Europeans that year. 2015, I went to the Worlds in France. I didn't even medal. I got my ass handed to me on a plate. And then I retired in 2016.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So cause I watched a bit of the Paralympics and the Olympics. It was this year, wasn't it? Something this year.
Yeah, it was this year, yeah.
Yeah, it was this year. Yeah. So I watched a bit of it, and I didn't see... Actually, no, tell a lie. I didn't watch any of the Paralympics. Sorry, I didn't. But I watched a bit of the sport that you used to do. Dressage, yeah. I watched a bit of that. And it is amazing to watch.
Yeah.
It's amazing to watch. But I didn't have to... I sat there with my missus. I was like, well, I know... And this was before I started talking to you about working with you on the podcast and stuff, before I wheedled my way in.
Yeah. Muscled your way in.
Slid into your DMs.
You really
the producer.
I did. Really did. I put this thing out on like the local Telford forum, just trying to get interest, because I want to get some local people on and things. And I don't know why we weren't friends on Facebook, because I didn't see the message initially. But I went.
No, we are friends on Facebook.
We're not.
We're not?
No. And I know this because it went into my others folder.
Oh.
So and I didn't realise, but then I advertised a gig, because comedy runs on Facebook. So I was looking for some comedians to do a gig for me. And I always check my others because obviously I'm not friends with every single comedian. And there your message was, so that's why I didn't reply straight away.
Okay.
But this little shit had literally just, I'd really like to work on the podcast with you, please. It'd be so nice.
Yeah, I just wanted to do audio, and they were like, "Do you know anything about video?" I was like, "Not really,
not really."
But I'm still here.
But we're working it out.
We're
working through it. Sorry, where are we going with that?
What was I saying? Oh yeah, so we were watching it, and like I was turn that over because I'll distract.
Yeah.
So we were watching it. I was like, it looks amazing and everything. Like, how does it work? Like, because it's a horse dancing.
Yeah.
How does it work? And like, because I'm a musician.
Yeah.
And I've got like, I'm listening to the beat and the tempo and stuff, and they're trying to get the horse as close as possible.
Yeah.
And sometimes I was watching it and I was like, well, that horse is out of time. Only by like maybe like half a beat or something. I was like, that horse is out of time. But everyone's going, oh my God, this is the best run they've ever done and everything. I'm like, it's out of fucking time.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the horse like it's a fucking drummer.
Yeah. So
and obviously, and then I'm like, but it's an animal, and it wouldn't know Led Zeppelin from ZZ Top. So I'm just like, what does it know?
With the music, so when you're putting your freestyle together, you've got compulsory movements. So there are certain movements that you have to put in, then you create your own way of doing them, your own pattern, let's call it. We call it a floor plan. And then you put the music to it. So that's the order in which you do it. You get your movements, put them into order, make sure it's the time, and then you put your music to it afterwards. And part of that selection process of getting the music is you'll time the horse's paces. So they got the walk, trot, the canter. So you got the walk, which is a 4-beat rhythm, trot's a 2-beat rhythm, and the canter's a 3-beat rhythm. So you'll have 3 pieces of music. So when you're timing them,
so do you pick a song like a song in 4/4, a song in 2/4, and then like a 6/8 or a 3/4 or something?
Exactly
like that.
that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you'll get music that fits the horse as close as possible.
Yeah.
And there are you can get them sped up and slowed down ever so slightly without disrupting the feel of the music. And if you notice, there's never any words in there. We don't really like words in the dressage. So I had a classical version of Titanium.
Yeah. Is that so the horse doesn't hear like a word or something in the song?
No, it's just a done thing.
Oh, okay.
It's just because traditionally it was done to classical music.
Yeah. Now it's a bit more modern.
It's a bit more pumped up. As I say, there's a band called Piano Guys, and they do like classical renditions of like chart songs. So I had Titanium, a classical version of Titanium mixed with Michael Jackson's Annie for my walk. And it was so that's it. So you do it as close as you can, but then every surface that you ride on rides at a slightly different speed. It's like you'll walk slightly different on concrete than you will on grass.
Sand
like your stride length will change slightly. So you can never get it 100% to the beat, but it's going to be close-ish. But what you're getting marked on, that's only your creative. I can't remember what it's called now. It's been a few years, but basically your that artistic skill. That's only 1 mark of 20 that you get marked on. So if you bang onto it, it only affects 1 mark if you're to it. So what they do, they're marking you out of 10 for each of the compulsory movements. And then artistic impression is just 1 little extra at the end.
Oh, okay. And then is it so? Because I was watching them as well, and I was like, yeah, because obviously their posture. The jockeys would it be? Is it a jockey?
Rider,
yeah. Because jockeys generally racing term. So I knew nothing about horses.
Clearly.
But like, so the riders, I was trying to watch their body movements. Obviously, I'm guessing a part of it is your posture and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you're not going to be slumped over like how I'm sat now kind of thing. You need to look not polite, but you need to look professional kind of thing. So I was watching them. I was just like, and to do that, so I was like, so how are they dictating what is it in like squeezes of the reins, and different pulls? Like,
so the common insult that everyone puts at us is, "Oh, the horse does all the work. You guys look like you're doing nothing." It's the best compliment you can give us.
Yeah, I was just thinking that
because the whole thing of dressage in particular is to do it without it look like you're doing anything. So if it looks like the rider's just sat there doing nothing, they're absolutely killing it. That's the whole aim. But then it's like different things for different movements. So let's take a movement called leg yield, for example. So a leg yield is a movement, if you were looking at it, the horse is walking or trotting in a straight line, but they're also going sideways, so they're slightly stepping over each side. So when you're to do that, you'll make your turn, you get straight, and then every time, if you're going from left to right, every time you feel them pick up their left hind leg, you do a little squeeze with your left leg. Just a little movement, so they know to step over, and that's the age you're training for that. And then to get them to do a flying change, so with a canter, it's a 3-beat rhythm, and they always have a lead leg. And a flying change is they do a little jump in the air and change the lead leg. So what you do to get them into the canter from walk, for example, you squeeze your inside leg, put your outside leg back a little bit and they should pop into canter if they're trained, right? That's the aid. And then to get them to do a change, you literally just swap, you just time as they take that jump up, you just swap your leg aids over and change the bend ever so slightly with the rein. And if they're trained well, that's the aid you give them to change leg. So there's loads of different aids that you teach the horses to get them to do the different movements.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's interesting. That, like, let's say there's some sports that you watch on the Olympics or whatever, because there's so many sports. I don't know how many there are now.
I have no idea.
If I was in my corner, I'd have a look.
Yeah.
But, like, there's so many sports now. And some of them I'm like, I've got no interest in this. Like, I don't understand it. And then because it came on, and we wouldn't have kept it on, but it was literally because of my memories with you. And I was like, I'll watch a bit of this because I know this is what Ricky got silver for. And so I watched it and I was like, and my missus, I think, knows a bit more about horse riding than I do. So she was like, she was just cheering Britain on and everything.
Yeah.
And I think that we did quite well, but I think it was did well. I think it was the Germans or something.
There was a lot of controversy around the British team going into it, and we lost our strongest rider.
Is that the one that got, because there was the woman that got done for thrashing a horse, and I stupidly, because I'm like anybody, like someone dies in a film, I'm like, don't care. When a dog dies or something, like I've still to this day not watched Marley and Me. I don't want to watch Marley and Me because my mates are like, it's a good film though. I'm like, does the dog die? And they're like, well, and I'm like,
maybe.
Then I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like the bit in I Am Legend when he has to kill his own fucking dog. Fuck that bit. And like, because they obviously mentioned it. Like the commentators mentioned it. They were like, also, what was her name? Was it Rebecca?
Charlotte.
Yeah. So, and I was like, well, what did she do? So YouTube, and I watched like 10 seconds. I was like, fucking bitch. So it was. So that was not good.
No, it wasn't. It was terrible. It was terrible. It shouldn't have happened.
No, it shouldn't have happened.
Shouldn't have happened. You've got to be careful what I say now. No, because I don't want to. The thing is,
I think she knows she was in the wrong.
Yeah, she was wrong to have done that. Yeah. We don't know what happened leading up to that or after that. If the horse was like, let's say you're in a stable with a horse and it's attacking you and kicking you, you've got to defend yourself. And in those type of situations, sometimes you've got to let them know that you're the boss. I don't think, looking at the video, I don't think that it was that type of situation. What I think she was trying to do is get it to engage its hind leg more, basically put more energy through, and there are more humane ways of doing that. That video.
Was she a dressage rider or was she something else?
Yeah, she's a dressage rider and she's absolutely fantastic. I know she was at one point the world record holder, and I think she was favourite to get the gold this time.
How old is she? How old is she?
She thinks about my age, maybe a few years younger, so mid-30s.
Because that was the thing about the sport as well, the dressage sport, that surprised me, because there was you'll probably know the name off your top of your head, there was a German lady, I swear she was like 51 or something. So she was because obviously when you think of athletes generally, you think of, like, especially because I'm a big football fan, so it's just like usually when a player's getting to 29, 30, it's like, oh, that's their golden years. They're coming to the end. Boxers and stuff like that. But say that like UFC, for example, like I follow the UFC, not so much into boxing, but with the UFC and things like Prime, like Max Holloway, who lost at the weekend, he got knocked out, which is a shame. Like, everyone loves Max. But like, I think he's only like 32, 31, something like that. And he's at his peak. He's at his peak.
But with dressage, because it's not physically demanding. I mean, it's more physically demanding than people assume, but you haven't got to be at your peak of physical fitness to be able to do it. And actually, it's one of them sports that the more experience you've got, the better. So generally speaking,
more skill than power.
Yeah, and if you're able to, because if you're nervous and uptight and anxious, those feelings directly pass down into the horse. They can feel a fly land on them, so they can feel if you're a bit tense, and that affects them. Like with describing to you how sensitive the movements are and how slight the moves are. If they feel you sitting slightly different, they're going to notice. So the more experience you've got of high-level competition, the better able you are to handle your nerves and stuff, the better you're going to be. So that a big part of top-level dressage is being able to hold your nerve. Although I say that, I think once you get to an Olympic final or World Championship final, I truly believe that it's 90% mental. I really believe that, because anybody at that point can physically do the job. And it's about who can hold the nerve and hold the balls the best. Yeah, I believe it's 90% mental at that point once you get to an Olympic final.
I think any kind of, I wouldn't even say professional level, even semi-professional level. Like, I'd like to consider myself a pretty good pool player.
Yeah. And that's a prime example of holding your nerve.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I joined a pool league.
Yeah.
And I sucked.
Yeah.
I didn't win a game. No, I won 1 game.
Yeah.
And I quit after 10 games because I lost 9. and it just, the pressure got to me. I had shots where it's the classic, like, black balls right in front. I can't miss. And I'd pop the black, but I'd forget to put back spin on the white, so the white would follow it in, and I'd lose. And it was stupid things like that where I just blanked out.
It's your mental game.
Yeah, it's the mental game. Like, you know, and that's another sport, like obviously snooker and pool and things like that. You know, it's not physically demanding, but like you say, that the mental ability to be, and obviously there's a lot of skill in pool and snooker. Definitely, being able to, going back to balls now, you know, being able to have the good ball control and everything like that. It's crazy what you see some guys do, and you know, like Ronnie O'Sullivan's still fucking doing it. I think he's retired now. Actually, I can't remember.
I don't think he has.
No,
I might be wrong.
I don't know. I know he does a lot of tours abroad and everything like that. But there's so many sports like that. But what sport? Obviously, you now moved away and moved into comedy. Do you still follow your sport a lot? Or?
Yeah, I follow the para dressage, not so much the able-bodied, but I follow the para just because I'm
them.
Yeah, fuck the able-bodied lot. I follow the para dressage just because I'm still mates with them on the team. But I'm a big fan of MMA and boxing, which is a total gear change from dressage. I never really fit the mold with dressage. Because of just a working class boy from the Midlands, you know.
Yeah, I think that's the thing probably with some sports as well, especially something like, you know, horse riding or anything to do with horses. A lot of money needs to go into it.
Yeah, I was very lucky that I got into it at a time where it was borrowed horses. So we'd literally turn up to international competition without a horse. There'd be horses there. We'd draw them out of a hat, and that'd be the one we compete on. So I was very lucky that I made a name for myself, that I got recognised during that time because I was able to get sponsors to buy me the horses that I needed, because I would never have been able to afford it.
And you said on your podcast with your dad as well that the school that we both went to, Thomas Telford, they helped you out a lot.
Oh, massively, yeah. I mean, I think I did PE for year 7, and then it became very apparent that I was never going to need a qualification in PE. So you have 2 PE lessons a week there, and on one of them I just went into the library and did my homework. So I just did all my homework in my PE session, and then the other one they let me go out and ride. They paid for me to go and have a riding lesson. They were fucking fantastic.
Well, that's good.
But on that note, I've just looked down at the time, and we need to have a little break-a-rooney. So we're going to go for a break. Thanks very much. Stick around for part 2, bitches. Welcome back to part 2 of the Unstable Podcast with me, Ricky Belshaw, and my man, Gaz.
Bam.
Yes.
How you doing, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Had a nice little break there, nice little brew.
Nice new tea.
Yeah, fresh.
I made this one, so you got to tell me.
It's very sweet.
You asked for 2 sugars.
Yeah, it tastes like there's about 4 in there, but I'm buzzing my little titties off after this. Right, so I do want to talk about something with you, actually. Your Instagram page. Because you showed me, and I thought when I saw it, I thought this is going to be one of them things that it's so silly, so stupid that it is just gonna go boof. And you've had a clip that's going nuts, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
Like nuts. I'll let you tell them what it is, because it's fucking brilliant.
So I'm a sound engineer. So I work in podcasting. Not just with you. I've got private clients.
What the fuck?
No.
Whoa.
Yeah, but mate, you're not paying me yet. So
fair.
Yeah, until you start paying me.
I know, we need more patrons so I can pay this guy a wage. Yeah.
So I've worked in podcasting for, and that's probably how me and you kind of reconciled. Not that there was an issue, but obviously I came over and we were talking about, and there was some things I said to you and told you, and you were like, oh, I didn't know that, or I hadn't thought of that, because I've worked in podcasting for about 5 or 6 years now.
Because for me, sorry to interrupt there. For me, I've done podcasts. I've been guest on podcasts, and I know that a load of comedians have got them, and it's something
behind the curtain. A lot of people don't really have
got a fucking clue about the tech, about the science, about algorithms.
And there's a lot. There's a lot I'm still to learn, and obviously with how AI's moving at the moment, like some jobs. I mean, some audio and some video jobs will be completely obsolete soon, but. So other than doing podcasting, my missus is also a singer, and she sings around a lot of the local pubs around Telford and everything, and she's doing very well for herself. And yeah, she's great. Shane Singer, follow her on Facebook. And she, so when we started, because I hadn't done live sound since probably about college really, and I got all my gear set up, and I got all her backing tracks sorted, and then you know, getting her so the volume was right with her vocal, and, you know, having some compression and reverb and all this other stuff that I wanted. After the first couple of gigs, I got settled with it to a point now where we can, if she's supposed to start at 8, we can turn up at 22
Yeah.
with all our gear, set it all up, plug it all in, and just go.
Just so you know, we are still talking about the Instagram page. There's a reason we're saying
There's a reason.
this. Stay with us. Stay with us, guys.
But because I'm so fucking good at being a sound engineer, where I basically set the technology up and let it do its job.
Job done.
So she often does like a 45-minute set, then like a half an hour break, then another 45-minute set. Obviously, it can depend. It can vary. But during those 45 minutes or to an hour, I'm just sat there like a dick. I don't need to do anything. Like I think there's only one thing that I still do manually, and that's
hold her in your arms afterwards. After she's just died on her arse.
No, you know the bit in Footloose, the song Footloose, but Kenny Loggins. And then I'm going to step over, and it goes, "I'm turning it loose," that. It's got the reverb and the echo on it. There's the one thing that I do is I press an echo button, and then she goes, "I'm turning it loose," and it echoes a bit, and then I turn it off. That's the only manual thing I do now. So in all that time where she's singing, and
you've got a 10-second job.
I'm standing there just drinking beer. Spending her wage before she's even got it. And so I was like, and for years, like my dad used to take me to snooker halls and stuff as a kid and everything like that. And like, while he was playing a match or something, he'd be like, "Oh, here's a can of Coke and a bag of Quavers for £1 back in the day. Remember those?
Bargain, mate.
Here's some beer mats. Off you go." So I used to just sit there and just flip beer mats. And flip, catch.
There was a period where that was what people did. That's what we did. We didn't sit on our phones. We used to sit there and flip beer mats.
And
you put them on the edge because if we have got any younger viewers,
I would try it with the coaster. See if I can do it with the coaster.
Wait.
Move your drink.
Move the drink.
See if I can do it with the coaster. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that.
That's why
you flick it up with your fingers and then catch it.
Yeah, that probably wasn't on the camera, but I got it.
You might have done.
So just something so simple like that. I was like, I'll start doing every pub I go to with her. I will start flipping beer mats at various amounts. It's just what's around me. I'm not going to go around and be like, "Oh, I want to try and beat a record or anything like that." Ain't going to try and do that. Just flip a beer mat. Like, here's a cheeky 7, whatever, and then tag the pub in it. And then tag my missus in it and stuff like that. And that was just the idea. And it was something for me to do because obviously the flip takes, I can miss occasionally and stuff, not often, but I'll miss occasionally. And it's like a couple of takes or whatever. And then, and I'll just sit there and it'll take me 10 minutes, make the Instagram video, add some music. I'll try and get the flip in time with the song or something. It's a bit of fun.
Gives you something to do.
Something for me to do while she's actually working fucking hard. And so I started it, and the page is... Originally, the page was called "Flipping Beer Mats at Various Venues I Go to Because I Am a God," but it was too long. It was too long. So it's now Beer Mat Master. Beer Mat Master. Nice, simple. And
punchy.
Punchy. And every pub I go to, just flip, tag, put a song on. And we were at a gig in, I think it was in Rockwood Ironwood.
Before you carry on, when you were telling me about this one day, the next time I went on Instagram, it came up as a recommendation.
Really?
It must have been like, because our phones were close and obviously they're always listening to you, aren't they, these phones and stuff. And it came up as a recommendation. I was like, "Hi, I'm following this shit out of that." Boink.
You're like my top commenter. Like,
I comment on everyone I see, mate.
I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, is he being sarcastic? Probably.
I am,
Like, "Oh, Ricky's commented again, bless him." But and so anyway, we were at this Rockwood Ironwood or something like that, and classic kind of upper class white gig where it's a social club. So in between sets, there's usually bingo or something, and you got to be quiet and turn the music off, and it's bloody hell sometimes.
Sounds horrific.
Yeah, but this one, it was quite a good night. It was like a charity night, so there was a few acts on. So my missus was first on, and then there was a few other acts, and obviously because we're associated with the other acts around Telford, we were like, "Oh, we'll stay in support." And there was a couple of other great singers there, like Fran and stuff, and we were stood at the bar. We were like, we'll just stay. We were planning on maybe going into Wellington and having a few drinks and just having a night, me and her. But we were like, "Well, fuck it, we'll just stay here for the night."
Is Pussycat still going?
I don't think so.
Oh, thank God for that.
Maybe it is. I never went.
Oh, you weren't missing out.
No. It's just like, I used to live in Newport. I never went to Maine either.
Okay.
Never went there. No. But so we stayed, a few drinks in, and my missus like, "Oh, you need to do your beer mat flip." I was like, "Oh, yeah." So I think I did something like 10 or something like that. Rookie numbers, and did an easy flip. Did a 10.
Just an easy warm-up.
Yeah, and then there was actually a pack of them on the side. Like, they come in like the plastic kind of packaging. There was a pack of them, and I just picked like a clump up. And it turned out it was about 30. And I was like, "Fuck it, I'll try it." And the bar staff were watching at this point, and they were like, how do you do it? And I was like, oh, you just try it. And I'm like, show. And they're like interested, they're like young lads, and they're like giving it a go. And I'm like, oh yeah, nice try and everything. Like, let me show you a master does it.
That just goes to show the generation difference. They'd never seen that.
Never seen
we
it.
were all doing it.
Yeah, and they were like looking at me like I'm some kind of fossil.
Yeah.
And but they were like, but it's something they've seen because obviously everything that to them is on their fucking phones. And I'm just like, yeah, try a fucking beer mat flip. And they couldn't do it. And they were like, oh, okay. And then they were like, I bet you can't do that 30 then. I said, all right. Boom, first try, did it. And they were like, fucking hell. I said, all right, if I get 40, buy me a drink. And they went, yeah, all right then. Yeah. And then I was like, fucking all right then, film this. Yeah. So I was like, all right, okay. So I counted them out 40 fucking, and then flick, boom, first try, got it. And my reaction in the video, usually I'm quite cool. You'll see from the videos, I flip, and I usually film from here. So I flip, catch, and then I just thumbs up, and that's it. That's all I do. My missus filmed this one, so flip, catch, I went, oh! Like, I was so impressed with myself, and I got a free drink out of it. And that's the video that's up there, and the last time I checked, it's had 500,000 views.
That is fucking ridiculous.
For flipping beer mats.
I put so much effort. We're having this chat, right? Because I put so much, I really think about the clips that I put out. Because as a comedian, I don't want to put my jokes out there. If a joke is still in my set, very rarely do I put it out there.
You don't want to ruin it.
If it goes viral, which I'm not saying it would, but if it was to go viral, I've lost the joke then. I can't use it. Unlike singers and stuff, we don't want our material out there because we lose the misdirection, we lose the shock, we lose the punchline. Joke's gone. But I do put crowd work clips, or if something interesting happens during a gig, I'll put that out. So I really think about it. Like in my set, I'm orchestrating certain conversations to go in such a way that I'll never use again, so I can put it out there. And I've got this one clip, and it's great. In fact, I've got two clips that have gone really well. One of them is a clip, it was just in my mate's conservatory. A question came up, it says, your mum or your girlfriend, who do you pick first? So I read it out, I was like, oh, it depends on the question. If it's a blowy, my mum hasn't got any teeth. Right? And that got about 350,000 views. But then this one clip, my best one, is on about 560,000. And it's just this little interaction I had with this guy. And I was so proud of that. And then you flip 40 beer mats and it goes, boom.
Yeah.
And I'm so fucking angry.
I know. And it's done, but it was... And it's,
angry.
It's got loads of comments. I've had a load of followers from it. And people interacting, and like, because I was wearing it, because as you know, I'm always wearing a band shirt of some format, and I was wearing a Maguire shirt, which is a Polish black metal band, and I've had fans of them going in the Maguire shirt too, and everything. I'm like, yeah, it's just what I wear every day.
It's mad.
And it's so crazy, like you say, how something so simple can just gain traction. But then, like you've just said, I know you're joking, but there is probably definitely a part of you that's also like, actually, it is fucking dumb.
Oh no! I mean, it is just jokes. No. I wouldn't take offence to it because it is dumb, and it's so dumb. And I'm the first one to say it because I'm like, hold on, I'm a musician. I've been in bands. I'm currently in a band, Terra Novum. Check them out. I'm in a band. And I bet you they prefer to check out the beer mat page.
They would exactly, and that's the thing. And I don't blame people. I don't blame people. But the thing is, like, Terra Novum, we released an album late last year, early this year, I can't remember. And
it's gone well then.
yeah. That's my dedication to the band. But I'm the vocalist, so I wrote all the lyrics, I wrote all the vocal lines, I recorded everything, if a take was shit, redid it, backing vocals, fucking everything. We've performed live, all this stuff. The band, especially the guys that wrote the actual music parts, put so much work, so much effort into that. Yeah. And I felt a bit of a dick sending them the screenshot of I think the first one I got, it was like, because it came up saying, and I think it was after 24 hours, and I sent it to, and I haven't sent it to him since, because the first one I got, it was like 1,000 views. Yeah. And I was like, didn't even know that if you got over a certain amount of views, you got little trophies. Yeah, that's how minimal I've ever done on the internet, or how minimal I've ever achieved. So I was like, fucking hell, I've got a little notification here saying congratulations, 1,000 views or whatever. Yeah. And I sent it to them, and they were like, that's fucking, people will fucking like anything these days. It's fucking bullshit. And I'm like, yeah, it is fucking bullshit, but I'm actually getting praise for something for not saying. Take it. Yeah, and I'll take the praise, but it does. And like I say, as a musician that has worked hard, and I've been a guitar player since I was 12, and written great songs as far as I'm concerned, and obviously have a very small fan base in that musical genre, and then worked with other great musicians and been part of that, and for them to not get the appreciation that they and obviously the appreciation I deserve for the effort that I put into that music, but especially those guys. Like the guys in my band are fucking brilliant guys, and the fact that the vocalist who I get up and shout at people. That's my job in the band.
Yeah.
They're there shredding away on guitars and fucking blast beats on drums and all this, that, and the other, and I'm just yelling at people. So they're probably even more pissed off that it's me that's got more views from just fucking flipping deer mats.
But people are like, people in the arts, they're so, and not all of them, but people are so jealous of other people's success. And like, I don't know the best way to say what I'm trying to say, but like, genuinely, I think that's brilliant that you've had over 500,000 views. And I can see the funny side and I can see the achievement.
Yeah,
and
I can see the funny side.
But maybe that's because I'm a comedian and I can see the ironic success.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I can really appreciate that. But some artists in other industries, as in not comedians, probably do feel that their art isn't getting the recognition it deserves. And it's probably not.
I think everybody feels that. It doesn't, I don't think whatever you're in, but like, because taking it to the music, do you remember, I can't remember the name of the guy, but do you remember, it was all a parody thing, but the rapper, when it was just like 2 + 2 is 4, minus 1, that's 3, quick maths, you know, and all that.
What's his name? He's a comedian.
Yes, he's a comedian. But when they released that song, what was the song called? Man's Not Hot. Man's Not Hot. Like when they released that, and then you had people in the rap community like, why is this on BBC Radio 1 Extra? And why is this guy like in the booth doing all his like freestyles? And it was shit. And it was so shit because it was a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months before people realised it's a fucking comedian. It's a character. That's the joke. But then, but then I think even then, when it then comes out that it's a character, it's a joke, it's a parody, I think then that's the offence to those artists that actually really work hard at their craft. And I'm not saying the comedian doesn't work hard at their craft, because their job is to make you laugh.
That's the thing.
But if you are taking something that other people take very seriously and taking a joke out of it, admitting that you're taking a joke out of it because you think it's a joke, and then they take offence, I can see both sides of it, and I don't get offended by it.
I can see both sides, but I do think because what they're doing, although he's doing it in that style, I think he's taking this. It's a completely different art that he's doing. But yes, he is kind of taking the piss out of that world. So I can understand the offence
playing
as well.
it on Radio 1 or whatever, and you got
just brilliant.
You know, you got SoundCloud bloody rappers out there going, well, why isn't mine? It was just like, maybe you're just not good. And like, I'm 34 now. I haven't made it in music. I'm not going to make it in music. And I think it's some people kind of need to get over themselves a little bit and realise that.
It's the same in comedy. Yeah. You know, not all of us make it. And, you know, I still might not. Yes, I've just gone pro and I'm doing very good on the club circuit. I might not make it to telly. I might not make it to tour level. I might not. I might. I forgot where I was going with this then. But, that's it. So, like, people... especially people who haven't had that breakthrough or are struggling to get to the next level, who are perhaps struggling to get to the level I am or the level above or whatever, they're so quick to just be angry and not happy for other people's success. Like I've had it recently. I've been sent some screenshots, and I'm not going to go into it. But I've been sent some screenshots of some.
Can we in the Patreon?
No.
Damn it!
I'll tell you. I don't want it out because I don't. I'm not asked because I know that there's this attitude out there, and it genuinely doesn't bother me. But I've been sent some screenshots of some comedians that have been like sort of bitching me and stuff, like saying, "Oh, I can't believe he's getting all this. He's fucking shit." And I'm just like, you're just fucking jealous because you ain't getting it yourself.
And at the end of the day,
just be happy for me. I'll be happy for your success.
I can understand it more so from young people, because when I was young and starting as, but then that's the thing. When I was young and starting out as a musician and stuff, and I was getting into extreme metal music and starting to release my own music and things like that, and there was other people out there that I would listen to their music, and I'm like, well, why is he getting signed to that label? And I sent them my demo tape and got absolutely fuck all, probably because I sent them a fucking tape, but you know, stupid shit. Like I was, and then the thing is, I think in some way let that hate consume me to a point where I was like, I'm too good for this, but I'm not being recognised. So I stopped writing. And I stopped performing. I stopped releasing anything. And I sat there for a couple of years with it. This is when I was younger. I sat there for a couple of years with it going, well, they'll notice me eventually when I'm gone. Did they? No. And those people that didn't give a shit about me because I wasn't on their radar and they weren't seeing me, and not that they were seeing me, and even if I was better than them, they wouldn't see me as a threat. They would just try and learn from me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I should have done that with them, but I didn't. And there's that old phrase that has stuck with me since I heard it, and that kind of made me break out of that mindset, was comparison's the thief of joy.
100%.
100% the thief of joy. And, you know, and sometimes, and I say this to, there's some people in my life that I'm just like, I don't say it to their face, maybe I should, but it's just like, sometimes it's okay to not be the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're going to learn. If you go into a room and you're like, I'm better and I'm smarter than everybody in here, and even if you don't know them, that's the attitude you go in with, anything they say to you is going to go over your head, and you'd never learn, you'll never change, you'll never become a better person.
Yeah.
And I think that younger generation, most people grow out of it, but then I'm guessing you're going to tell me there isn't. And I know people that are still like that today where, you know, like, well, why is that person doing better than I am? They're shit compared to me. Look what I can do compared to them. It's just like, sometimes it could be a lot of things. Like, you get it a lot in music, especially, and like, I don't know, think of a popular musician that like Sabrina Carpenter's doing very well at the moment, and she's a good singer. It's not my type of music, but she's a very good singer, and she's very, very popular. But we all know of singers or musicians that are 1,000 times better, that are more technically proficient on their instrument.
Yeah.
Even if they're just a singer, they have a better octave range, everything, and they'll be sitting there stewing in their own hatred, going, "Why is Sabrina Carpenter doing better than me?" It's just like, well, it could be a lot of things.
Yeah,
it could be how she looks.
Right,
it could be a fashion sense. Right place, right time. Who she knows.
Yeah.
It also could be her stage presence, how she is on Instagram, because a lot of it nowadays is you need to bring people in with your personality. And it's like we were talking about the podcast. It's like, be your fucking self.
Yeah.
That's why podcasts are kicking off and doing so well, and people don't watch. You know, people don't watch the news anymore because it's people sat there reading the teleprompter. You don't know anything about these people. They are just a mouthpiece. Whereas me and you could bring up something topical and people could hear our opinions on it. Get our opinion on it. And people, and it might not be the facts. And that's where people go, well, that's why people watch the news, because it's the facts. Who trusts the news nowadays?
Yeah, exactly.
You got one place saying one thing and another place saying one thing about the same thing that happened, and it's just like, so no one knows who to trust. So I don't know why people still watch that. But having your own personality might be the thing that's bringing, and especially in the 100%. Comedy world, you could tell a joke, and then George Carlin could tell the same joke. People would find George Carlin more funny, more than likely. Yeah, but there'll be people out there that would find you funnier because of how your delivery is with it.
Humour is so subjective. Yeah. Like Ricky Gervais, Jimmy Carr said it. He said, if you hear a joke, if you find it funny, you're right. Yeah. If you don't find it funny, you're right. Yeah. But going back a few stages in what you said there about not being the smartest person in the room, before I even did my first open mic, I treated comedy like I did sport, and I knew I was going to have to work at it, etc. So I went and helped Jim Howarth, who runs Comedy Hotspot, who got the cup there. He runs some top-level pro nights over the East Midlands. Well, in fact, he's coming to the West as well, but he runs nights everywhere. And I went and literally helped him on the door just so I could sit in the green room, chat to these top-level club pros. Some of them have been on telly, and I could watch their stagecraft, I could watch their sets, watch how they do it, and I learned so much by literally being an open micer in that room. Yeah. And then I've sort of moved very quickly, and I've done well. But there are people who I consider aren't as let's say it as it is. There are people there that are probably doing better than me that I think my set is better than, but good luck to them, because there are also people who I think are better than me,
but not doing as
that
well
are not doing as well.
Yeah.
And it's just opportunities just get mixed up and come, and everyone's on their own sort of trajectory. So there's no point in being angry and fucking bitter about someone else's success. Just do your own shit. Yeah. So it makes me laugh, like when I get these screenshots, because I knew, because I have moved fast within the game. I have, and I'm very proud of that. And very aware of that, and I always knew. It's been a few people that said like people are going to moan, and it started to happen now, and I fucking love it.
Fuck them.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Fuck them.
Honestly, and it's
like why shit on anyone else's success? I don't understand that. As 100%. Long as you're not hurting people, and they might be go, well, they're not hurting me, but they're stepping on my toes. How? You can barely fucking walk. You ain't stepping on any fucking toes. Shit. You know? But that's the thing. Like, you're not, as long as you're not using other people as rungs on a ladder.
100%. Yeah.
Then what's the problem? I don't understand it.
Because I've had some opportunities and I've grabbed them with both fucking hands, and I know for a fact that anyone given them opportunities would have done the same. So you can't knock me for that, and I wouldn't knock anyone else for grabbing their opportunities.
Again, obviously, you're coming from the comedy world, I'm coming from like music kind of world and things like that, and it's kind of the same. Like, you know, if you go back to the 90s and stuff, when bands like Green Day and Blink started getting big and everything like that, and the punk genre, fans of the punk genre were like, oh, they're selling out and everything like that. It's just like, they're 18, 19-year-old kids who've just been offered to go tour the world and be paid £1 million,
millions of pounds,
and take their music And they didn't change their music to get signed. They got signed from how they sounded when they were playing in the garage.
Yeah.
So what's the problem? Yeah, I don't get that. Like, so it's the whole like, oh, you're a sellout and you're changing who you are and you're utilizing this and promoting that in order to get to where you're. Fuck off. Yeah. Like, you know, people just need to grow.
Anybody given the opportunity would have taken it because they're set up for life. Their family's set up for life. Their kids are set up for life.
Exactly.
Take the opportunity, man.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I say, with music and stuff, like going back to it briefly, like there's bands out there that I'm just like, how are these guys like more known? And like you think of classic rock bands and stuff, and like, you know, obviously you got like Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, the Who, and the Clash, the Jam, whatever. Name your bloody band. There's bands out there and guitarists out there, because I'm a guitarist primarily. There's guitarists out there that I'm like because Brian May is like from Queen's my favorite guitar player of all time.
Right.
Fantastic guitar player. I went and saw all of them live with Adam Lambert about 5 or 6 years ago. And Adam Lambert's like a great singer. He's no Freddie, obviously, like no one ever will be. And like Brian May usually does this, like the rest of the band goes off and he does like a solo for about 5 to 10 minutes, and he does a solo. It's usually, it's called the Brighton Rock solo, because they had a song called Brighton Rock where he does like this massive solo in the middle on the recorded track. So he kind of takes parts from that and he just kind of noodles, he improvises, and it's great, and you're watching him. And I used to watch those as a kid and listen to him as a kid, and I was just in awe of them. Yeah. And obviously because of him, I was like, I want to learn how to play like that. So I remember like buying an echo pedal and learning how to play what he was playing. Yeah. And eventually I could do it. And I remember like performing it in front of my family and stuff. They were like, that's fucking spot on. Like, you're really, really good. And I went to college and everyone's like, you're really, really good. And everything. Like, fucking great. I went and saw him live. And he's now, he's in his 70s now or something. He's had a stroke, bless him, and stuff. And he's lost the use of one of his arms. Hopefully it comes back, because otherwise that's his fucking, he can't play. And that's a fucking hero for me gone and everything. And I watched him play the Brighton Rock solo. And